Hey everybody, thanks for following our channel. This is Catherine from French Broad Cannabis. We're a formulator and manufacturer of CBD and herbal products in Brevard, North Carolina. Today I want to talk to you about something that I am really passionate about, and that is CBD salves. I use salves every day. I would say that they are my favorite CBD product. I like them because they work where you put them. So whether you just worked out or maybe you're just sore or just anytime you've got something that's targeted, maybe like, just one area, something you can point to and touch. There's a lot of different kinds of salves on the market. I really like the ones that have jojoba oil in them. The reason for that is that jojoba oil really mimics the skin and the oils in the skin, so it passes the skin barrier very well, which means that it's a great carrier oil for salves and for CBD, which is oil soluble. So there's a lot of different stuff on the market. You can get stuff that's like hot cold, like something, that kind of cools your skin. And then there's ones that are for sensitive skin. Those are the ones that I like the most. There's ones that are just kind of regular salves that hit a larger market. Maybe if you don't like hot cold or have sensitive skin, you can just go with a salve that you just want to make sure that it doesn't contain any menthol if you don't like that hot cold feeling. But there's not a lot of research out there to uh, prove or have any real understanding of the efficacy of salves. That being said, the empirical data and the data from folks actually using it, like subjective data, is huge. The salves are one of the best sellers here. They're the best sellers in a lot of shops that I know. And the reason for that is that they work really quickly. They're often also combined with other ingredients like arnica oil or camphor and these sorts of things that are also used in herbalism for the same type of stuff that you use a CBD or cannabis salve for. So this only creates a more complex and efficacious product. So just make sure that when you're using salves, you find something that's been tested. You want to find something that's batch traced, so something that's got some sort of batch number on the bottom. A good company will have a website that you can go to that has full testing panels on their salves. So you'll see that it's got heavy metals testing, pesticide testing, microbial testing, that sort of thing. Microbial testing is very important in salves because a staphylococcus or E. coli contamination. E. coli can happen in cannabis, and then as far as staphylococcus, you can introduce that during the formulation stage. Let's say somebody has a cut on their hand or something like that. That's the way that staphylococcus would get into a finished product. And it does stick around. So if there is contamination with staphylococcus, it's going to stay in the product. So you want to make sure that it's been tested for micro, because if you put something that's contaminated on an open area or even an area that, gets cut later or has a little bit of a, rashiness to it, you could infect your body through a contaminated product. You also want to make sure that it has no pesticides or metals that are above the limits set by the EPA and the Food and Safety administrations that we have. So you aren't putting harmful chemicals on your skin. Like I said, something like a salve, especially something that's got jojoba oil as a carrier, is going to absorb through your skin. So just think about your skin as a big organ, and you'll be pulling whatever is in the salve into your skin. You also want to make sure that they're testing for potency. And all of this should be batch traceable. So you want to make sure that whatever you're getting is what it says it is and has the documentation to prove it, because it's very important with salves. I'm just going to give you a little peek of what salves look like. This is one of the salves that we make. When you put it on, you don't need a lot. So I'm going to put on just this much here onto my arm. When you apply a salve, you're going to want to kind of gently massage the area um, to rub it in, and also to make sure that you're getting good coverage and that you're not like leaving any chunks on the skin, and then also it'll spread further. So that amount just spread from here all the way to here. So kind of everywhere that you can see this pink flower and blue on my arm. So you want to make sure that it's kind of a thin layer, and then I just like to do like a little bit extra of, massaging the area just to make sure that I'm getting good absorption. Not everyone likes to do this, but I like to kind of try to rest the area after I apply a salve. That way I can make sure that it's getting some good absorption time rather than, going out and going for a run right afterwards. So I like to apply my salve in a time that I'm gonna, have a little bit of rest, maybe like a 5-minute sit, maybe at lunch break or something like that. Salves are really convenient because you can just toss a little salve in your purse. That's what I do. I've also got a bigger jar. We have bigger jars, and often other companies will have bigger jars as well that you can keep by the bed or something like that at home. And it's a lot cheaper to have a bigger jar and a smaller jar that you're pulling from the bigger jar into the smaller jar. So I like to get one of each to start and then pull from the bigger jar. That way I've got like a little container to put in my purse, or maybe you have a little container from, a sample of some sort. But the bigger jars are always going to have better price points per milligram and per gram of material. So using that to your advantage while still being able to have something that's cute and convenient to take with you throughout the day can be really good. About storage of salves, you want to be careful how you store your salves. When it's too cold, you're not going to have too much of an issue, but when it's too hot, you're going to have a big issue. You'll start to get melting, you might get dissolution where your salve starts to separate from itself. So you just want to be careful to store your salves in a location that isn't going to have big temperature variation, and you want to make sure that the salve you're using stays solid at room temperature. There's a lot of salves out on the market that aren't solid at room temperature. They're almost kind of like creamy. I don't like those salves because when I carry them in my purse, if there is a natural temperature variation, like throughout the day, which there always is in my life because I'm in and out and active. So, those can melt in my purse and create a big mess, or melt in my car or whatever whenever I am going from place to place and leave my purse in my car or something. So you just want to be careful about the salves that you get when you go into a CBD shop, which I believe is the best place to always buy your CBD. You want to ask to try it out, and they should have like an open sample of the salves that they're selling so that you can see how it applies and get to know it. Make sure it doesn't burn your skin. I've had plenty of salves start to irritate my skin. So you just kind of want to try it out, talk to them for a little while, dilly-dally in the store, and just see how it feels. Give it a couple minutes before you purchase. That way you're getting to know your product. If you're buying online, that's the best way that you have available to you. That's fine. I would just start with a smaller amount to make sure that that salve is going to work for you before buying a bigger bottle, and then purchase the bigger bottle once you know that that salve is good for you. Because there are a lot of stuff out, there is a lot of products out on the market. I would also say stay away from anything that's got chemicals in it. If you can't pronounce or know the word that's on the ingredient list, chances are it's unnatural and that there isn't a reason for it in your product. So you can make a really good CBD salve with no chemicals at all, with only natural ingredients. So companies that are using chemicals in their salves are putting unnecessary ingredients in. A lot of them are purchasing a base, like a lotion base or a salve base from a company, and then using that by adding just CBD in it. I don't suggest going with those companies. First of all, that's not like an artisan brand. There's not a lot of love in that. And secondly, there's just no reason for those chemicals. So you're putting things on your skin that you really don't need to be, and and a natural product, in my opinion, is always going to be better for me, and just aligns with my morals better, and who I support, and what industries I support. So if you've got any questions about salves, you want to choose a salve, you don't know what the best one is, or maybe you don't know if a salve is right for you, just go ahead and reach out to us. We're happy to talk to you about that. And maybe it's just worth a try. Like I said, if you can point to an issue on your body and say, that's the problem, right here, then a salve is probably good for that. It's really worth a try. People find that anything that's a targeted issue responds really well to a salve. When you're using salves, you're going to have to reapply it throughout the day. It's not going to work as long as like a capsule or something like that. So you are going to want to have it with you. Maybe apply like every 2 hours or something. That's what I normally find. But for me, some days I don't need it at all, and some days I need it 5 times a day. On average, I use a salve about 3 times a day. One time, maybe around 11, one time around 2, and then one time around 5 or at bedtime. So to help me sleep. And I really like it for this area, the neck and shoulders, just because that area tends to just give me trouble. So I like to put it kind of on my back, but you can get somebody to help you apply it, or just put it wherever you think fit. Make sure that you're only using salves on external surfaces, and don't put it on open areas like cuts or wounds. All right, reach out to us, give us a follow, and let me know if you have any questions about salves. We've got a great team on board that can answer your questions and is passionate about products, and they're happy to answer any questions you have. All right, see you soon.